Hi, I'm Zara Altair, and this is Mystery Monday, where we talk about mystery writing and we have Ask Me Anything questions. And today I wanted to focus on backstory and dreams for beginning writers. So, bottom line, when you're just starting out, avoid them. That's my Yeah, I know Michael Connelly uses dreams for Bosch, but I'm telling you, when you're just starting out, you need such a gentle and subtle hand that it's best to avoid them. So use these two story elements with a really light touch. And if you use them at all, wait until you are at least a quarter into your story. And do not start with either. Don't start with backstory. Don't start with dreams. They absolutely peg you as a novice writer. So, okay, whoa, now what do you do? Having a dream sequence and then the protagonist wakes up is just a no. It's like marks you as a beginner, as a novice, as a person who just doesn't know some straight story writing techniques, and info dumping about how your character was abused as a child or fell in love with then was hurt or any other backstory is a no. So just really leave those out of the beginning of your story. When you start your story, you want to start and get your reader right into that story. What's happening now? What's happening now with your detective? So start with what's going on and really save those dream and backstory elements for much, much later. So dreams, you need to be especially sensitive to having them reveal something about their character, but they're just barely okay. It takes a really skilled hand to weave dreams into a story. And if this is your first writing venture at writing mysteries, I just really leave them out. They're like long descriptive passages. Dreams and backstory slow down the story progress for your reader. And they take the reader out of the story. They're like, what? Whoa, what? This is a dream or what? I wasn't expecting that. Where's the story? So just be really, really careful about how you use backstory and dreams, if you use them at all. Don't even think about them, putting them into your story until you're at least 25% into your story. If you need some backstory elements to enrich your detective, have them come up in conversation with other characters or while they're thinking in your reactive scenes. But usually you'll find if you just take them out, your story goes much faster and your readers will love it better. So avoid dreams and backstory. I guess I haven't said that enough, so just leave you with that. Avoid dreams and backstory. Okay, I have a couple of questions. Let's see. When I started writing, I felt like my detective was totally unique. Yay. Now that I'm writing the story, she feels like every other female detective I've read. Help. Okay. First, this feeling of not good enough can happen to any writer at any time. So just check your mindset before you let that sink in. If you really think that it's true that your detective doesn't have any unique qualities and feels like every other detective, it's time to insert some unique qualities into your detective. So dialogue is one of the great ways to distinguish your character. Does she have certain phrases she uses? Phrases that startle other characters or make them nod in agreement? And don't be afraid to repeat those phrases several times in your story. So it's one of the hooks you give readers that, oh, this is who this character is. She responds this way and she knows what she's doing, or she has a way of proceeding, and this is what she says. So that's one way you can do it. And then look at how your detective approaches the clues and evidence. This is a great way to reveal how your detective works. Do they make sense of those clues right away, or does she have to take some time to think about them and let them percolate through? So one of the ways you can make her distinctive is to highlight her skills. And then make use of her flaw, her one big flaw. Throw it in just when she's about to get closer to solving the puzzle. And give her a setback. And use that flaw to bring out her character, and at the same time move the story forward by creating an obstacle. That is a great way to make your character very distinctive. And then also I'll post the Meet Your Detective worksheet in the show notes for this week, because that'll help you dig into your character. But once again, check your mindset, because you could be just in one of those I'm a terrible writer mode, and so check that first. All right, I hope that helps. Then I have another question. I love telling stories. I want to try my hand at mystery, but I can't spell. I don't know much about commas, and semicolons make me dizzy. Yeah, well, I have a saying, characters don't speak in semicolons, and you're right. They slow down the reader, and don't worry about them. But do not sacrifice your writing talent to grammar and spelling fear. If you're into storytelling, tell your story. Storytelling is a gift, so you need to use it. And there are some famous writers who were right along with you, and they couldn't spell either. So Ernest Hemingway and Jane Austen and F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I'll post in the show notes just for fun a link to some other authors who had trouble with spelling and grammar. So one of the benefits that writers have, including those writers, is that there are editors. And if you don't know grammar rules and your spelling's a little wonky, don't worry about it. Just plan to budget for a really good editor to help you with that, because your gift is storytelling, and that's a unique gift. Not everyone has it. And just write your story. I know one of the very first clients I had as the story bodyguard couldn't spell, had no idea where semicolons or colons went or what the difference was, and all of those things. But he is just a fantastic storyteller, and he's gone on to publish a number of novels. with the use of an editor. So I highly suggest that you don't let grammar, spelling, punctuation keep you from telling your story. If you have a story inside you that you want to get out, tell the story, because editing is a left brain process, and you can hire it out. But storytelling is a very creative process, and it's a gift. So don't let those shortcomings hold you back at all. And then I want to go back just a minute to the dreams and starting your story with a dream. It just slows the reader down and doesn't get them into the story. Even if your dream is a nightmare and it's really scary, it's just like having a gratuitous sex scene at the beginning. It's like shock the reader and they're going to get into my story. But that isn't how you get readers into your story. Getting readers into your story is creating a character with a dilemma, and it presents right away. Uh, and and even if you think your dream is exciting, don't use it. Um, I also had another writer that I worked with, and he had great screenplay, but the screenplay started with a dream, and there was all this stuff going on, and it was actually really confusing. It was a very scary dream, but it was confusing. And once we took the dream sequence out and the story actually started happening, it was just a much better story. It moved more quickly. It got readers involved right from the beginning in what was happening with this character. And we took the problem that the dream represented for this character and sprinkled it in later with dialogue. Remember when blah blah, I know that's kind of, we didn't use those words, but that's kind of how it goes with, uh, and the story was about two best buddies, and the one buddy said, hey, I know you're really having trouble with this, but just we're going to deal with it, and this is how we're going to do it. And hey, Stan, hi, thanks for dropping in, and thanks for the kind words. Thanks very much. Let's see if I can make this work. So, anyway, that is today's Mystery Monday, and be sure to check the show notes on Facebook for references to bad spelling and also to diving deeper into your detective. And I will see you next Monday.